Hey everybody, the Summer Edinburgh podcast series is brought to you by Beer 52, and what a perfect sponsor that is. The Fringe really is true drinking culture, and Beer 52 not only wants to send you 8 incredible craft beers from all over the world via their monthly craft beer discovery club, they want to send you folks from the UK a free case right now. All you got to do is pay $2.95 for postage and have yourself a try just to see if you like it. No minimum commitment, cancel or pause at any time. This is only for people in the UK. Grab that free case of all different craft beers at beer52.com/Colt. That's beer52.com/Colt. Enjoy some beer, but for now, enjoy the show.
This is the Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. You're about to listen to the Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entryway to the minds, the souls, the hearts, and the lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I am a fringe man. I'm a fringe goer. I'm a festival performer. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am not coming to you live from my studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. That's right. I am in my summer rental in Edinburgh, Scotland, performing at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival every single day. Before we get into the show, I want you to know this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday. ColtCabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes just like Joe Marizo did. Email me your address and I'll send you out that autographed Japanese DDT ticket when I get home. Other great ways, Twitter, Instagram, whatever social media you use. The best way that you can support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, t-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads, a children's book, micro brawlers, and so much more. Again, great ways to support. It will all be sent out to you when I get home, but I'm taking the orders. ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. Every year I do the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and every year we have a separate 4-week version of the Edinburgh podcast series, if you will call it that. This year is no different, and I have done something different and something fun. Some of you have been telling me you've been missing the live podcasts, and now this is a great opportunity to mix the world of comedy and wrestling just like I'm doing at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. If you don't have a good understanding of what it is, there's about 4,500 shows happening every single day in venues all over Edinburgh. From 10 in the morning to 3 at night, the place is packed with performers and sightseers and just everything in between. The town of Edinburgh just explodes during the month of August, and I, along with Brendon Burns, we have brought our weird show of watching bad wrestling and doing comedy and commentary over it. We do it every single night in the same venue at 11 o'clock. The shows are always different, and we always have different guests. And before we start watching the videos, Brendon and I will always have a chat with the guests just to kind of talk a little bit about wrestling and get the guest used to the room. So that's what I'm going to be playing. I don't want to talk too much. I want to play these clips for you. So before we invite each guest up, Brendon and I do like anywhere from like a 5 to 10 minute shtick. We just talk. We have some set bits, but sometimes we just go off on something completely weird or something that happened to us each day. And I'm only going to play when the performer comes on, but I will give you some context to what Brendon and I talked about if we're talking about with the performer so it makes sense to you. And we're going to start with the very first show. John Robertson was on the show. And one of the things that came up when Brendon and I were talking was Brendon will make a lot of references that have to do with the UK that everyone in the room knows, but I just have no clue. And I don't pretend like I have a clue. And that always also seems to make the crowd laugh when Brendon points out how much of a clue that I don't have. This all started 6 years ago with a guy who's very famous for being a shithead in the UK named Rolf Harris. And after 2.5 weeks, I asked Brendon, I go, who's Rolf Harris? And that got a huge laugh from him. And so this has been an ongoing theme. And as we lead into John Robertson, please go see his show if you're in town. He has a show called The Dark Room. It's at 8 o'clock at the Underbelly Cowgate.
Thanks for coming. I gotta say, just quietly, I love how obsessed you guys are with fucking wrestling that I walked on stage holding a whip and no one asked a fucking question. No. My God, that's a tribute to when Woman was a manager in South Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Yeah, there we go. That kind of thing.
What is that whip?
Well, I just did my show, Sweaty Sexy Party, which is me fucking around with a blues singer on stage. And as it turns out, you can get a lot of mileage out of just beating the front row.
Wait. How many kids came? Hey, that's two! That's two out of that shit! Come on! That's what wins you the big one, motherfuckers!
Just how many kids came? Yeah. Well, I didn't stimulate them to completion, obviously. You know, not some fucking sicko, not someone who looks like Adrian Edmondson with AIDS.
I already did it. We already did it. We already did that.
You already did it. Oh, wait a minute. You used the joke that I used about you fucking last year. You're excellent.
No,
okay.
No.
I don't know who.
Hold up, fuck it. No.
I don't know who Erin. I am in a Vegemite sandwich right now. And just like Vegemite, it is awful.
Hey, Brendon.
Yeah.
Stand up for a moment.
Okay.
Stand with me. Righto. Folks, it's an unexpected bottom reunion.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. There's... Nothing. Look at that. Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
Eddie. Oh, Eddie, I'm so incredibly horny.
Gold at the end of every rainbow. Different show every night, folks. Different show every night. Okay, so the young ones was like Rick Mail and Adrian Edmondson. We looked like both of them. And then they did another sitcom called Bottom. And
not Bottom of the Card. You'd recognise that. Okay. Now.
Oh, shit. Someone's going to get chopped early.
Every year, Colt, good man, strong man, powerful man. Bless his heart. Every year, Colt, at some point or another, finds an excuse to just chop me in me little boy tits. Like, make no mistake. While this fucker looks on enjoying himself, and that's not a bad thing. However, I feel doubly strong because guess what I did the other day?
What? CrossFit.
No. Thank you for the compliment, but no. I wear black for a reason. I met Billy Gunn.
Whoa!
And was he an arse man? How many uses did he have for Uranus? He likes to kick him.
He likes to
pick him.
He likes to stick him.
Yep. Wait a minute. So you met Billy Gunn?
I met
He
Billy
likes
Gunn.
to touch him.
Yep.
He likes to fuck him.
Oh, mate, make no mistake. My hair wasn't white till he came. Okay. It was fucking amazing. You know, and it was genuinely lovely. He shook me warmly by the hand, and I'm not going to lie, I feel like I've taken some of his strength, or at least some of his fucking human growth hormone. So, it was a lot of fun, because the nice thing about it was I was sitting backstage at a Comic-Con, and he went past, and I turned to my wife, and I'm like, look at Billy Gunn. There's a man on human growth hormone. And I just get whispering, and I'm like, fucking 19 human growth hormone. Someone got kicked out of professional powerlifting, human growth hormone. Human growth hormone! Until I went up to him, in which case I became a complete pussy and I got him to sign something. But that's not important right now.
But the thing is, because you look like part ghost, right, and you're going to, human growth hormone, at any point, did he ever go up to anyone else going, can anyone else see that guy?
Well, to be fair, Jim Ross was also there, and he looked up at one point and went, and realised I wasn't Ric Flair, and then stopped looking at me. So, by God, that man's face is broken in half. By a pre-existing condition. Okay. He was very nice. Anyway, it's a great pleasure. Things are going well.
Thanks for having you, John.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for being our opening guest. And I have a question. Would you like to watch some wrestling?
Let's watch bad wrestling!
All right, our next guest is a very funny comedian named Jamali Maddix. And right off the top, Brendon, for some reason, snorted a can of Monster. I'm not really sure why he did this, but he did it. And for those of you who don't know, Brendon drinks about 5 to 6 Monsters a day. I don't know. That's a decision he's made. I told him it's an incorrect decision for a long time, but he says it's better than cocaine. So, I mean, that's a valid point. Also, the night before, I weirdly, sadly, was trying to make a point about something else, and I had asked the audience, you know how tragedy plus comedy equals time? And I was about to go into another bit when Brendon stopped me and then started laughing along with the whole crowd to realize that is not the equation. It's comedy plus time equals tragedy, and that's just how my brain works, and mixed it up, and that's referenced in here, as I'm afraid Brendon will never let that go. And as we welcome Jamali Maddix to the stage, if you're in town, go see his stand-up show. It's called Vape Lord. It's at 6 p.m. at the Monkey Barrel. All right, have a seat, Jamali. Brendon, I know you're so excited to stand this whole time.
Yeah.
But we have to cage you and put you in a
Fucking
seat.
monsters kicked in. Come on.
You keep on spitting it all over the place. Oh my
shit.
God. What? This is your friend. This is your friend,
You know
Jamali.
what? That was supposed to be a joke,
No.
but it genuinely went straight up my fucking nose.
We get it. You don't snort cocaine anymore, but anything else you are happy to do.
I'll tell you what, though. Tell you what, by the end of the show, right, that was a bit of a tragedy. Give it some fucking time.
I've been with Brendon trying to find Monster in Estonia.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it was like a cokehead trying to find coke.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it had the same vibe. Just stopping off every 5 minutes. They got fucking Monster in here. But they don't have Monster in here, Brendon.
And it's also, I have to have the sugar-free one, otherwise I get a come down and I'm not very happy with it. And well, I wasn't even trying to be funny, but it kind of was. Right, fuck, the monsters kicked in. Whoa, how are you? Hey, you're a bit Jewish. Right.
Oi, vey.
Oh, mate, I fucking... But whenever
You're the one schwitzing right now.
Oh, I'm so happy.
All right, I'm going to introduce Jamali to our audience. So, Jamali, you had this show where you went to America, right?
Yeah.
And you went all around to all the weird places. And so I kind of... Did you ever try to infiltrate the wrestling culture?
No, I tried to make a film about Japanese hardcore wrestling.
Ooh.
Japanese what?
Yeah, Japanese hardcore wrestling. We did try and make a film about that, but it never went through. But we didn't make no films about wrestling.
I'll tell you what, can you do me a favour?
Yeah.
And take your cap off? Because right now,
I'm
you look
balded.
like someone that was molested that needs to keep their identity fucking... You know what I mean? I need to read your lips as well.
Yeah, I got to change my voice to really low voice.
Yeah.
Like, it happened.
It sounds like, yes, I am Jay.
Okay, so usually like this, like I said, this is our. We're very echoey and tinny, no? This is our world, the world of wrestling. This is like the only show for us people, and we welcome in our guests. So I always like to ask the guests, kind of, when you think about pro wrestling, what's your thoughts of childhood, or did you watch wrestling, or anything?
Do you know what? I actually do have a memory, and it was how Brendon crushed something that I always thought was true, and it wasn't. I remember I didn't realize Scotty Too Hotty wasn't black until maybe like 5 years ago. Like, I swear to God, I thought I was a brother. Like, I just assumed Scotty Too Hotty was black.
What?
Like, I just did.
Wait, what?
I always did. I just assumed. I thought he was.
Are you talking about the wrong one?
No, I
Scotty
thought he-
Too Hotty the worm.
Yeah, I thought he was black.
What
Of
the
mixed race, at least. And then
How
he was like,
white is your mum
She's fucking
that
white.
you got confused?
Yeah, well, I thought he was like Puerto Rican at most. And I swear to God, and then I remember Brendon was like, and you're pissed off with that Scotty Too Hotty pretending to be black. And I was like, what do you mean he's not black? I thought he was black. Like, I put him up there in my favourite black wrestlers.
Why, just because he had a number 2 in his name? What happened?
No,
How?
it's literally just from the fact that he'd done a worm. I was like, Matt, I said that gets me some black stripes. In my bad. He's got a black card in my, because didn't the other one die?
Yeah, today. Like, oh, this
today.
week.
his partner died.
In prison. Fucking...
No shit, R.I.P. your brother, man.
Yeah, I think was it the gack? Was it drugs? Was it what? Was it hung himself?
Oh, way to bring it down.
Fuck's sake!
Great. Fantastic.
We're having this great talk about thinking white people were black people.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, give it some time.
Oh, we can't laugh about his death.
I tell you what, by the end of the hour, I guarantee we're closing on one of us hanging ourselves. It's just the way this show works, folks.
Well, that's that really made my night, I'll be honest.
I'm incredulous all over again as well.
I don't know what that word means.
Surprise, can't believe it. I don't remember this discussion, but so like because I've forgotten it, like sometimes being me, it's fucking quite fun because you have a blackout and then you know how you enjoyed it the first time round, right? And then it happens again and you go like, oh, this is all new.
Jamali, can I ask you a question?
Oh
Yeah, let's go for it.
You guys, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch a little wrestling?
Let's watch bad wrestling.
All right, the next guest coming to the stage is a Canadian who was living in London for a very long time, has now moved to Los Angeles. His name is John Hastings. He's been on the live podcast from Edinburgh many times before, and he will be a fixture on this podcast probably for the next 4 weeks. A big reference that was talked about a lot in this opening was a story that myself and Brendon told on stage, something that happened to us the night before, and I won't get totally into it, but the gist of it is Brendon found a giant hawk outside of our apartment, which we later figured out was a seagull, or a gull as he would say, and this thing was hurt, and so Brendon came to me and said, Colt, we have to do something about it. We have to break its neck and kill it. I was appalled. We did a whole 10 minutes on it, but that's the gist of some of the references that you will hear in this audio. Before we get to John, he has a show, Float Like a Butterfly, John Hastings Like a Bee. It's at 8:30 p.m. at the Pleasance Courtyard.
I have a lot of thoughts about the gull incident. First of all, it's this let's snap its neck mentality is why people look down on Australians.
No, you fucking... Look, you're Canadian. You should have my back. You've lived in the wild, haven't you?
No, I'm from Ottawa. I'm from the capital city.
He went, I'm from Ottawa. And this bloke went...
Well, where the fuck are you from, Disco Stew?
Hey!
West London.
Yeah.
Don't act like that's cool.
Hey!
West London.
Don't fucking come into our show and heckle our fucking crowd.
He fucking started it, motherfucker!
All right. Wait, whose neck do I have to snap?
Yeah. Someone give me a concrete block.
I was running out of options. We put a box on its head. Oh, by the way, you should know, we put a box on it because he wanted to keep it alive. He gave it chicken. And by the way, while you're feeling sorry for this baby gull, it hawked down another bird like a motherfucker. It was a cannibal. But we woke up this morning and we suspect that the lady upstairs called RSPCA because we looked in the corner. No feathers. I think he's all right.
We are telling ourselves that someone called the RSPCA and that a chicken or fox didn't come and eat it. All right.
That old woman waited for you two numbskulls to go upstairs. She walked downstairs with a knife and went, oh, Sunday roast.
All right, Johnny boy, we're going to change this to wrestling a little
yes,
bit.
we fucking are!
Tell me about your latest thoughts, anything about professional wrestling, anything that sparked your interest or disinterest. Have you been watching a lot?
Yes, Colt. As one half of the seminal wrestling podcast, The Wrestle Review, I am filled with rage, bile, and cum when it comes to a little match that no one's been wanting, and yet we're getting it again. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I will sit through it because I am a wrestling fan. And will I like it? No. Even if it's amazing, I'll still be like, 2 stars. Where were the Young Bucks? If they were there, it would still be boring, but I would have some questions.
That's why we get so mad whenever celebrities turn up on wrestling. Because, like, they pretend like they're plugging something. And, like, that's why I think why they get booed out of the building going, hey, I'm a big wrestling fan. You're like, fuck you. You weren't there for the fucking rough years, mate. Yeah. You didn't stick it out with Duke the Dumpster Drosy. You're turning up now, fucking Johnny Fairweather. I'll snap your fucking neck in a...
Yeah. You weren't there during Katie Vick.
Yeah. I like Katie Vick. Am I the only... I thought it was funny. Thank you, sir.
It was not funny. You have the Edinburgh Comedy Award, and you think...
For fucking a corpse.
Yeah.
I'll toughen up, cunts.
Yeah.
What are you, a bunch of baby gulls?
Do you think if the show in Edinburgh of Mark Henry having a baby with Mae Young of a hand...
Loved it. Gave birth to a hand, couldn't get enough.
Do you think if they put that on, like, upstairs at the Monkey Barrel, it'd get 5 stars?
Yes, 100%. 100%. They just have to call it Sexual Chocolate Comes of Age.
I think they just have to call it performance art. And then everyone goes like, oh, that probably says something about feminism.
It's very interesting. I'm in love with a woman who thinks professional wrestling is really dumb. And the problem is that she always walks in at the inopportune moments.
Yeah.
And so it's always, she never walks in and I'm like, that is the Nature Boy Ric Flair. And that is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And they are in the middle of a little thing I like to call the Chi-Town Rumble. Bam! It's like, oh, who's that? I'm like, well, that's Sable. And The issue here is that is her actual husband, and she has just power bombed him, and that's his new girlfriend, and she's going to try and show the fans Sable's boobs, and when they don't see them, they're gonna shout the N-word.
John, do you want to watch? Group, do you guys want to watch a little wrestling? The next performer we had on the show was actually a comedian I just randomly saw last year and I thought was amazing. Reminded me a lot of my good friend Marty DeRosa, who's missed very much. He did an hour of stand-up without any material. It was all improv stand-up. It was very impressive. We started talking afterwards. Turned out he was a wrestling fan, and we invited him on the show last year, and he came on the show this year. Before we get to Russell, go see him do stand-up. He has a stand-up show called Love Songs for the Viciously Ambitious, 5:40 p.m. at the Free Sister.
I've even heard about this guy by association, by proxy. He is widely reported as simply the greatest improviser of his generation.
Jesus, you can't hype him up that much.
No, he fucking is. He's good.
That's a lot to live up to.
I've heard it from 4 different sources, and you're one of them. So why are you mad that I'm repeating what you said?
Let's keep the expectations low, so when he does good, it's amazing.
All right, the next guy, fucking, what are you going to do? He's probably up the back a bit nervous. He has every right to be. He's a bit shit.
But hey, encourage his comedy, okay, everybody?
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you know what? When he comes up here, let's just all give him just a jolly good fucking, you go for it, son. You live your dream. So instead of clapping, we'll just go like, oh, go on, Russell. Go on. Go on, Russell. Go on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Russell Hicks. Go on, Russell. Go on, Russell. Russell, go on. Go on, Russell. You can do it. Hey, Russ.
Hey, everybody. Was that gold or what? I just thought of that off the top of my head.
Fucking tenser, splash it. Hey, is your mic off?
My mic's off.
Oh.
Squeeze it a little bit.
Never had a bad review.
Yeah.
Ever. See what I mean? It's barely a show. Hey, random tech guy. 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 Random tech guy.
Is there... Surely you could have learned his name by now. This poor guy.
Hello.
Random tech guy. How does that feel? 4 days I've been doing the show on the Fringe. It's funny now, but after the show he goes, thanks, random tech guy. You're both very sweaty, wearing tank tops.
And yeah, treat yourself. Take your jacket off.
This show is about wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm starting to think this was a ploy where you two are about to have your way with me. Because that guy looks like he's into watching that sort of thing.
It is a basement.
And just fanning himself. Yes! Put it in his mouth.
Halfway through the show, he's changing his name to the Shark. That's a deep cut for some of you guys. All right. RTG, what's going on here, buddy?
You getting another mic? Do you want to use mine in the meantime and I'll shut the fuck up?
That's impossible.
Who is the guy who played the guitar? Remember that guy? What was he called? The Mountain.
Oh,
nice.
This guy, yeah?
Rock. Man Mountain Rock. You do
Man
look like
Mountain Rock.
Poor fucking guy. He's now like, how many people do I look like?
Oh, yeah. But Man Mountain Rock, yeah. I liked him a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, and I also I used to listen to the wrestling boot band.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Hey, there's a comedian. Do you guys know?
Man, I stopped. Not a lot of 80s wrestling fans in the audience, it feels like.
Yeah.
You don't remember the Beach Patrol?
No.
Thank you.
No, I don't.
We are the Beach Patrol.
I appreciate that you like the boot band so much. It was Hogan and Jimmy Hart. There was a lot of wrestling music that's pretty legendary. I don't know if you have any favorites. Songs. There was, of course, Pile Driver by Coco Beware.
Everyone else's song had something to do with them. All right? Like Coco Beware was at least singing Pile Driver. Demolition song was like Where Demolition. And Strike Force, they just had a leftover track. And it was called Girls in Cars. And I don't know, maybe we should find it, where they do the promo, introducing it. And they're very camp men. And you know how when like a camp fella tries too hard to be heterosexual and doesn't know how blokes talk about women when they're hot? Like going, oh my God, you see her shoes? I just want to get her boobies and go blah, 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 blah. It's like, mate, come out. It'll be all right, right? We don't care, right? It's there. And he goes like, you ever see a girl in a car and you just get a little glimpse of them in a car and it's just, right? Like, fucking, have you ever met men?
I was raised during the Attitude Era, so I was taught to disrespect women at all costs. Sorry, guys.
Did you have a favorite theme song?
What?
A favorite theme song?
Yeah.
Hey, who was the guys that sang Rap is Crap? Remember that one?
Mr. Perfect and...
Remember the Nitro episode where Megadeth came on and said, this is for people who think rap is crap and country shit. Bam, right in it. Fuck. Guys, the 90s were an era. Hacky sack was one of the greatest things you could do to pass the time. WC Nitro used to be a thing that was almost popular.
David Arquette was running wild on the wrestling.
Shit! Let's go watch that movie tonight.
I was famous.
Did you know David Arquette made a comeback and he recently wrestled?
No, I did not know that.
David Arquette in Hollywood wrestled RJ City. Does anyone who would know if he won or lost that match?
Did he?
That is awesome. That is awesome. What happened? Courtney Cox came out with a metal chair. Just fucking rammed.
He pulled a Kevin Nash and just blew his quad from walking.
Oh, man.
Anything from... that you really love from like your childhood or the 90s, just about professional wrestling? When we say about professional wrestling, kind of what comes to your mind?
Dude, what comes to mind is I was raised at a time when ECW was still a thing, and every 3 months you'd go to your friend's house because he was the only kid who had enough money to afford the pay-per-view, and you'd pretend to like that fat asshole just so you could. I understand this is probably the wrong room to say that kind of thing. I'm sorry, guys. You look beautiful. All right. Everybody in the room was like, what the hell's wrong with that? You smell great. Keep it up. And you would go to his house, man, and you would watch every 3 months, and I would see Heatwave, and this is when Rob Van Dam was the absolute fucking man. Frog Splash from the top. New Jack we've talked about before.
My favorite.
I mean, I assume you guys know. This man, I don't know, ever learned he was a murderer. A man who has killed people and then just wrestled one night. And that was basically his shtick, was that he's a real-life murderer in real life. I don't know what's ever happened to him.
I've said before, when I was 17, I thought New Jack was the best wrestler. All he ever did was jump off balconies. And like Dean Malenko was probably the most technically sound wrestler ever. And I was like, fuck Dean Malenko. New Jack is the best wrestler. Dean Malenko would never jump off a 17-foot balcony.
Can I tell you, the only thing I know about Dean Malenko is when you say that, he was the dude who would pop up in the video game and you'd be like, fuck, who is this guy? Right?
Shouldn't
Remember
you be
play the
running
N64 game? None of you know.
It's almost like...
I don't know what you guys have now. You plug something in and you fucking...
It's as if they've got an avatar for a guy that's like, what, I'm supposed to play you? Shouldn't you just be one of the guys that runs down during a pull-apart?
You know who I used to like? Who was the guy? Buff
Bagwell.
I used to like Buff Bagwell as a teenager, and I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. If you really like Buff Bagwell, you can fucking hire him for your pleasure. Yeah, he's now a male gigolo.
You could fuck him for
something was up.
Yeah.
I knew something was up.
You could fuck him for $600 if you want.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, I sucked his dick for free.
Yeah.
For free. And that's what I thought was suspect.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
You want to watch some wrestling?
Yeah.
So usually tech things always go wrong. That's always the case. Danny LaBelle was the next guest on the show. For some reason, I plugged in the recorder and I just didn't push record like a real dum-dum. I did film it on my iPhone, though, and I did take some of the audio from the iPhone, and I will play it now because there was a really funny part where Danny talks about he was never really a wrestling fan. He never even watched any television. He was so religious and still is as a Jewish man. But he had this one story, and I thought it was very funny that I wanted to play it. Before we get to that, go see Danny LaBelle's show, Fat Chance, 6 p.m. at the Coffee House. See if we can get him.
By the way, I had one wrestling action figure, despite the fact that I never saw wrestling as a kid.
Whoa.
Jake the Snake, because I collected toy snakes. So yeah.
Hang on, isn't there a story about you and Jack the Snake?
That was it, Brendon.
I get the feeling some people are going to be taking some liberties this evening.
Okay, so for the super people, the nerd, which Jake the Snake Roberts figure was it? Was it big enough? No, hold on.
For the super people.
Okay, did I say that?
Yeah, you said for the super people.
I was gonna say super nerds, but then I didn't want to like. I could say okay. For the super wrestling nerd people, was it like the big rubber ones or the small plastic one?
It was
the
small,
figure, Jake
the figure.
So it was probably the Hasbro.
Plastic one.
Yes, the Hasbro figure, 89. Don't worry about it. Red card. Okay. And now, where do you rank? Because you obviously collected a lot of snakes. Is that the toy?
I had a bunch of different. I like toy animals, not just snakes.
Where do you rank Jake the Snake's toy version of his snake on the total spectrum of snakes in the toy village?
Not one bad review.
Was it a good snake or no?
That was good. It was annoying that it came with a human. My understanding is that the snake in real life felt the same way.
Yes. Yeah, I do. Danny, I got a question for you now. And I'm apologizing to all of our audience. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Ready?
Danny, you want to watch some wrestling?
Yeah. Is it wrong that I thought you were trying to jump into that girl's titties? Is that
I was thinking of splashing those. I got a fucking punch and a knee square in the nose and lips.
And last but not least, we finally had a little bit of lady energy on the stage. Erin McGathy, American comedian living in Dublin now. Some references you might need to know. Before we even brought her on, I kicked a guy out of the show for talking. He would not shut up. This is a common theme. He might have had a little too much beer52.com/cult. I told him he had to go, and then the 5'2", 110-pound Rosie came in and escorted his ass out, and she was very proud and happy to do it. Also, some more references. When she comes to the stage, we'll talk about some lighting stuff. That's because she came on and turned the house lights off, but we wanted them on, and we eventually turn them off when we start watching the wrestling, but we wanted them on so everyone could see us. Also, she came to a wedding in Chicago. I was out of town, and I let her sleep at my apartment. Those are the references you will need to know for this conversation. Before we get to it, Erin is in an ensemble. It's a show called Film Reads. It's at 8:45 p.m. at the Underbelly Bistro Square.
There you go.
Oh,
Oh,
we
I
do
did
that after we're done talking.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fucking woman ruining everything.
Why'd you sound like a witch when you did that? You went, I'm going to live under a bridge. Hi, Erin.
Hi, I'm so intrigued and so intimidated.
Oh, don't be. A lot of masculine energy up here, I know, but we are sweethearts. If you haven't learned anything from me threatening to beat the shit out of somebody with a beard. Were you going crazy that these lights were on the whole time? That you immediately had like...
No, I wasn't going crazy. I just thought the energy is so great. And
Wait, that's like after you bombed for an hour and you speak to a comedian friend.
You really performed up there tonight.
Yeah, and they try and find like a positive, and they go, "Oh, the lighting was good." And I just came out of the energy was so great. Like we could tell that you enjoy your show.
It did just feel like you were in a flow, and I was like, oh, I am a bit of a... I do care about lighting. And so I thought maybe they just would never notice. And in the audience, I was like, oh, if I would want the anyway, sorry. Other notes about your show.
I like that.
The old bald guy could do with a few fucking sit-ups.
Like, our passion is wrestling,
Yeah.
so we've made a wrestling show. Erin has a lighting show on at 9:30.
It's called No One, I Dare You to Come to This. And so far, no takers.
Oh. There is a bucket at the end, though.
Yeah.
Did you not see the
Not
example of
actually.
when I murdered a man and sent him okay.
Yeah, but there's no malice in that.
That was wild. That was like I'm not
Fun, right?
Yeah, I'm not usually like roused by.
Yeah, you're into it. Ooh.
I have slept in Colt's bed, which is why I think I'm here.
You've slept in Colt's bed. I think you'll find that's why you're pregnant.
Can we clarify that a little bit before this?
Let's not. No.
Okay.
Aaron. Cryptic.
Okay, so this show, we talk about wrestling. We love professional wrestling. So, our list of guests, it goes from like super duper watching wrestling all the time to, never watching wrestling. So when I say professional wrestling, when I put it in your head, what do you think about? Do you have any memories as a childhood or anything that comes to you?
Your bed.
I stayed in Colt's house.
So did I.
In Chicago. Yeah.
I got the fucking couch. Fucking fancy pants comes over here with her fucking hair and teeth and youth, and she gets the bed. I booked this motherfucker 6 years solid, and I'm on the fucking couch. And as for all the fucking head I gave you, Jesus H.
Be kind to yourself, Brendon. You have teeth.
Oh, I know from the head that he gave me. I'm well aware. Wrestling, anything?
Yeah. I was about to say I was a child.
Yeah.
So I'll just go ahead. I'll go with that. I was a child in the world. Yeah, actually, the first celebrity I ever saw was Hulk Hogan.
Whoa.
I was on a tour of Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. And
Sorry to cut you off. Were you married to Bubba the Love Sponge by any chance?
I was a child bride of Bubba the Love Sponge.
Tell you what, he'll let you sleep in his bed. And then some.
I mean, it's all in the name, right?
Hulk Hogan had sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And who would have ever thought a man called Bubba the Love Sponge would be a bit creepy?
I saw the documentary about journalism.
Oh, nice.
That's what we're here to talk about, right? Freedom of the press. No, I was at Universal Studios in Hollywood, and they did this thing where you went on tours of like the different studio lots, and Hulk Hogan was shooting a show called Thunder Beach.
Thunder in paradise.
Thunder in paradise, yeah.
Messing with me is like rolling the dice. I'm a big nerd. Wow.
Yeah.
I love wrestling.
I like that my child mind was like, meh, Thunder Beach is a better name than Thunder in Paradise.
Hogan
Just
thought
sounds
that
like
was...
farting during sex is Thunder in Paradise.
Hogan thought that was his way out of wrestling as well. He honestly
Right.
thought like, fucking, yeah, I'm done. Oh, this is Baywatch all over. It's like, no, you don't get to be the next Baywatch. We've got one.
I'm going to take the success of Thunder in Paradise and do an Ed Fringe show, is what he thought.
Oh, can you imagine if he did an Ed Fringe show?
I would be there every night.
Yeah.
What would it be?
Him fucking Bubba the Love Sponge's wife.
I think, it'd be. I think it'd be a little bit racist at the top, and then it gets sexy. Ladies, please bring a plate.
Erin, you also came to an over-the-top wrestling show in Dublin.
I did, yeah. It was wonderful.
And did you enjoy it?
I was moved. I really was. Like, it was kind of like the opposite of an existential crisis. I did leave thinking like I should have been a wrestler. Why am I not a wrestler?
Still time.
I don't know. I don't think I would be good at it. And I also think that the character that I came up with is something that's probably been done, I'm sure.
Go on. Wait. We've never had anyone offer this before. Go on.
Really?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Well, when I was watching the thing, I got quite drunk and started taking notes, which I gave to my friend, which he
The lighting is
The
awful.
lighting is all fucking...
No notes about my own character. The lighting was great. Lighting was really, really wonderful. But I had my drunk thoughts were that I wanted to play like a New Orleans heel junkyard queen, kind of like Pam Anderson in what's the name of the movie?
Barbed Wire.
Barbed Wire, but like gross.
But gross.
But gross. But fun. Like me. Like Pam Anderson, but fun. And not tragic. A non-tragic.
Did you give yourself a name?
Oh, I did.
Something like Bouvier or something?
Oh, wait. I think I told you about this.
No,
No. When I was your, I must have just whispered it into your pillow.
Okay, Erin, I have a question for you, and I have a question for everybody. And look out, front row. Don't jump off that. No, Brendon, I forbid you. I forbid you. Are you ready to watch a little wrestling? And what a lovely first week of shows it was at the Edinburgh Fringe. I thought I was going to give my mom the month off, but she left a message for me, and she was not happy. We'll get right to that after these plugs and
upcoming events.
All right, the best way to use support, ColtMerch.com, digitalcolt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW Podcast, also /Colt Cabana. Each week, I'll choose one person who reviews and rates 5 stars on iTunes, and I will send them a signed show ticket from the Japanese promotion DDT. My storytelling podcast, Pro Wrestling Fringe, plus past archives of this show, old and new. They're ad-free on StitcherPremium.com/Colt. Use the code COLT, get a free month. ColtWrestling@gmail.com is my very public email. Maybe a promoter want to put me on an upcoming show or convention or even be documented on this very podcast. I also have a YouTube channel. I also have a website, ColtCabana.com. That's where you can find my P.O. Box and send me something fun when I get back from Edinburgh. Upcoming all this month, I'm at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. EdFringe.com to reserve some tickets. Otherwise, take your chance and come in a little bit late. Other than that, Saturday, August 18th, Dundee, Scotland, SWEonline.co.uk. And when I get home, Thursday and Friday, August 30th and 31st, Chicago, Illinois, AAWrestling.com. Saturday, September 1st, I can finally announce this one, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, and on pay-per-view, all in. Sunday, September 2nd, I will be doing a live Art of Wrestling podcast at Schaumburg, Illinois. It's from 10:30 to noon. Starcast.com. Sunday night, I'll be in Chicago Heights, Illinois, WarriorWrestling.net. September 8th and 9th, Manchester, England, WrestlingMedia.com. Friday, September 14th, Cleveland, Ohio, AIWrestling.com. Saturday, September 15th, Hazleton, Pennsylvania, PPWWrestling.com. Sunday, September 16th, East Greenwich, Rhode Island, BeyondWrestlingOnline.com. Friday, September 21st, Westbrook, Maine, LimitlessWrestling.com. Saturday, September 22nd, Wyandotte, Michigan, GoBCWA.com. Intro music is by the Ukulele Teacher on YouTube. Outro music by Superfun Yeah Yeah Rocket Ship. Podcast cover art and design by Jimmy Lee. Photo by James Musselwhite. Big thanks to John Robertson, Jamali Maddix, John Hastings, Russell Hicks, Danny LaBelle, Erin McGathy, and of course, Brendon Burns. Let's thank our sponsors, highspots.com. Hundreds of full-length titles available to download. A VOD service that is amazing. Go watch some old PWGs on there, why don't you? AMA knee pads, gear, wrestling masks, even a wrestling ring. Thanks to OneHourTees.com. They help run ProWrestlingTees.com. That's the place where you can support your favorite independent wrestler directly. All right. Here it is, hashtag Ask Cabana Mom. This week we are not asking her anything, but she still wanted to be heard.
Hello, this is Mama Cabana from her studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois, while Colt Cabana is in Scotland. I'm out of a job for the next several weeks, so I asked Colt if I could collect unemployment insurance. Nothing going on here. I guess you would say I'm on hiatus, which means, I guess, a 4-week off time. If anybody wants to ask me anything, just let Colt know, and I will do my own podcast. So looking forward to being back on the air soon, and enjoy the rest of your summer. And thanks.
All right, Mom. Patience is a virtue. All right. We'll get you some questions in a couple of weeks. We will. As long as people send them in, then we'll start asking. All right. This has been The Art of Wrestling for Colt Cabana. I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.